What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus check update, the stimulus package update, daily news, pretty much everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Money, investing, the stock market. And remember, daily shows come out every day on our channel at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you found these videos helpful, don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. We got a lot to talk about here today. Several new things have come out. And actually, the Biden administration, the president is working on. We actually talked about a couple of these here a few days ago, ironically. Check this out. So remember, I don't know, about 48 hours ago, we were talking about how I'd started to see a lot of comments from you guys that we were seeing the return of empty shelves across the United States and that the supply chains were seeing goods not being delivered across the United States. And we're starting to see a lot more articles like this. There is no shortage of reasons, the broken supply chain. And we're starting to see, and I literally seen hundreds of comments from you guys down below in the comments saying, yeah, Jimmy, I am seeing a lot of stores in my area saying, we have a lot of things not being delivered. We have shortages of this, that, or the other thing in my area. Some people said, no, Jimmy, we're not having some supply chain shortages in my area, but a lot of people did say that, yeah, we literally have aisles that look like this picture here at my local grocery store or at my local Walmart. In fact, I actually had some comments of people saying, I work at a grocery store, or I'm a grocery store manager, or I work at a gas station, and we are having supply chain issues exactly like this. It's almost like a return of the pandemic from when they shut down, and there was kind of a run on the supplies like water and toilet paper and dry food and canned goods, and we're starting to see some of that right now, and not necessarily from panic buying, but also from the supply chain issues that we're seeing right now. We also talked about this, again, just a few days ago, how gas prices hit a 7-year high and actually might be going a little bit higher because the prices of oil around the world are at an not an all-time high, but a 7-year high, as the prices of oil are trending above $80 a barrel worldwide, and the prices of oil are trading worldwide on the stock markets worldwide, and that supply and demand affects the prices of oil not only in the United States, but worldwide, and that, again, affects the prices of oil. Well, the Biden administration has, ironically, I just covered both of these stories here on the show within like the last 2 days or so. The Biden administration has just taken steps to try to alleviate both of these problems. Check this out. We'll start first with the supply chain issue, which is actually affecting almost every single state at this point. Check this out.
And today we have some good news. We're going to help speed up the delivery of goods all across America. After weeks of negotiation and working with my team and with the major union retailers and freight movers, the Port of Los Angeles announced today that it's going to begin operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This follows the Port of Long Beach's commitment to 24/7 that it announced just weeks ago. 24/7 system, what most of the leading countries in the world already operate on now, except us, until now. This is the first key step toward moving our entire freight, transportation, and logistical supply chain nationwide to a 24/7 system. And here's why it matters. Traditionally, our ports have only been open during the week, Monday through Friday, and they're generally closed down at nights and on weekends. By staying open 7 days a week through the night and on the weekends, the Port of Los Angeles will open over 60 extra hours a week will be open. In total, that will almost double the number of hours that the port is open for business from earlier this year. That means an increase in the hours for workers to be moving cargo off ships onto trucks and rail cars to get to their destination. And more than that, the night hours are critical for increasing the movement of goods because highways are less crowded at night. In fact, during off-peak hours in Los Angeles, cargo leaves the port at a 25% faster pace than during the day shift. So by increasing the number of late night hours of operation and opening up for less crowded hours when the goods can move faster, today's announcement has the potential to be a game changer. I say potential because all of these goods won't move by themselves. For the positive impact to be felt all across the country and by all of you at home, we need major retailers who ordered the goods and the freight movers who take the goods from the ships to factories and to stores to step up as well. These private sector companies are the ones that hire the trucks and rail cars and move the goods. On this score, we have some good news to report as well. Today, Walmart, our nation's largest retailer, is committing to go all in on moving its products 24/7 from the ports to their stores nationwide. Specifically, Walmart is committing as much as a 50% increase in the use of off-peak hours over the next several weeks. Additionally, FedEx and UPS, two of our nation's biggest freight movers, are committing today to significantly increase the amount of goods they're moving at night. FedEx and UPS are the shippers for some of our nation's largest stores, but they also ship for tens of thousands of small businesses all across America. Their commitment to go all in on 24/7 operations means that businesses of all sizes will get their goods on shelves faster and more reliably.
So number one, this will be important because he just mentioned there, the Port of Los Angeles will be moving to 24/7 service. This will almost double the amount of time that they are open to address supply chain issues. I just looked this up that Los Angeles is the number one largest port in North America, and Long Beach is the number two second largest port in North America. He mentioned in that speech as well that Long Beach actually just moved to 24/7 service as well, right before Los Angeles committed to this as well. So both Los Angeles and Long Beach, the number one and two largest ports in North America, have just moved to 24/7 service, where apparently before they were only open 9 to 5 Monday through Friday. So they're now open almost twice as much. Yeah, that's a big difference. So these supply chain shortages, if you've been watching the news or hearing about it, there's all these ships that are stuck out to sea in the West Coast. In the Pacific Ocean, there's literally dozens and dozens of container ships like this stuck out to sea with hundreds or even thousands of containers with that have been stuck out there for days or even weeks because the ports literally just are overrun and can't take it in because uh, they're just full. So now with them being open twice as much, well, goods will move a lot faster. People will be able to get their goods faster. Stores will be able to get their goods faster. Small businesses will be able to get their goods faster. I mean, this is just literally good for our economy. So honestly think that there's no downside to this at all. This is a really, really good change. And I think it's really good to see that all these different companies were working with the Biden administration, the White House, whoever you want to call it, and they're all going to be, you know, working with each other or working, I don't know, all together here to speed up the process for the American consumer, for the economy, and everybody is going to be getting goods faster. And especially with the Christmas season coming up, this is a good thing because I know I've been seeing a lot of people say, you got to do your Christmas shopping now because stores are literally going to run out of Christmas gifts. If you've heard that, please comment down below because I've been hearing that more and more and more. I mean, we're not even in November yet. I've been hearing that a lot. Even my mom told me that. You better go Christmas shopping for Julian now. My son Julian is 3 years old, because yeah, they're like they're gonna run out of Christmas gifts. Yeah, if you ever heard of panic Christmas shopping, I mean, I've been hearing it even more and more. There's supply chain shortages everywhere, so Hopefully this will alleviate it, and not just in the short term. I mean, this is something that's going to go on forever. So I think that this will be a good change for our ever 24/7 running internet economy. Next up, gas prices. Also, I should mention that Biden threatens to call out companies that don't help end the supply chain bottlenecks. So, yeah, we'll have to see if anything comes of that. I'll keep you up to date on this situation. The White House is weighing steps to address gas shortages, as well as the White House is asking companies for help lowering gas prices. Remember that the price of oil worldwide has just hit $80 a barrel as we've hit a 7-year high. So, yeah, they're trying to combat high gas and oil prices. Yeah, check this out. White House officials have reportedly been in touch with representatives from major oil and gas companies about how to bring down prices in the US, Reuters reported yesterday. The Biden administration has been in touch with industry representatives after crude oil hit a 7-year high of $80 a barrel this week, according to Reuters, citing two sources with knowledge of the conversations. The reported conversations occurred days after oil prices in the US hit $81.50 a barrel, the first time since October 2014 that US crude closed at more than $80 a barrel. Energy shortages have also hit other parts of the world hard, including Europe, India, and China. The White House earlier called on organizations of the petroleum exporting countries to increase output. Domestic US production, meanwhile, saw a slump in 2020 during the initial wave of the pandemic and has yet to fully recover. While President Biden imposed a temporary pause on domestic drilling on federal lands in January, US energy officials have said the pause will not manifest in the market until next year. Next up, here is Senator Elizabeth Warren on the stimulus package and how everything's going with that. First up, she'll talk about the controversial IRS surveillance kind of issue, where the Democrats want to be able to look into your bank account or look into your transactions. They will just literally do this by getting the data from the banks. As low as transactions on $600. They've been back and forth on this, whether it will be $600 or much, much higher, as high as $10,000. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi commented on this yesterday, saying the reason they want to do this is to catch tax cheats who don't pay taxes on transactions or income or money they're trying to hide. Here is what Senator Elizabeth Warren has to say, as well as an update on the stimulus package.
First, I have to just ask you a few questions about Washington. Of course, you have been a tireless advocate for the working person for years at this point. I'm curious to get your response to the administration's request at this point to have banks have reports for any withdrawal or deposit for any American's bank account over $600.
So I think that actually they've changed the numbers on this. Part of what we want to make sure is that everybody pays the taxes that they owe. And most people do. Anybody who works for a living and gets a W-2 form, the government already receives a report on exactly how much money you made. But there is some concern that there are some people who are moving a lot of money in and out of their accounts in the banks without making proper reports to the IRS or perhaps engaged in other kinds of activities. And so they just want to step up the level of information that the IRS has available. And I think that's reasonable. You just got to get the number right.
And speaking of that muscle, many people have suggested that President Biden's agenda or wish list, if you will, has really been overshadowed by the realities of that 50-50 split in the Senate, with Republicans relying on the filibuster. Now, as we are just a little over a year out from the midterm elections, what do you feel that Democrats must do in order to prove to the American people that they can effectively pass new legislation and govern?
We need to deliver. Look. We've already done a big part of it. We got the vaccinations out, and they are now available to everyone, and that's great. We got those checks for $1,200 out that we promised we would do. We've gotten child tax credits out to families with children. But now we have our toes on the line to make big change. Think of it this way. More than 100 years ago, we started investing in America, in roads and bridges and sewers and water lines and public schools and colleges and universities in order to build a more prosperous country, and it worked. But starting about 40 years ago, we really laid back on all that while the rest of the world kept investing. Now here we are, 2021, we need to invest in childcare so daddies and mamas can go to work. We need to invest in increasing the wages of every childcare worker and preschool teacher in America. We need to invest in home and community-based care. We need to invest in Medicare expansion to cover dental, vision, and hearing, and we need to take a big hit back at the climate crisis that's facing us. In effect, we need to rebuild a lot of those roads and bridges for the climate catastrophe that is bearing down on us. We do those things, and we make ourselves a more prosperous nation going forward, and we expand opportunity. So it's not there just for a handful at the top. It's there for everyone.
Are you concerned that your more moderate colleagues, Senators Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, have a little bit too much control over what becomes law at this point?
Look, it's tough when you have the thinnest, skinniest possible majority, which is what the Democrats have right now. But keep in mind, everything that I've just talked about is what Americans want to see. Not just very, very progressive Americans, not just Democrats. Democrats, Republicans, independents, the majority, big majorities of Americans want to see us deliver on child care, deliver on expanded Medicare, deliver on the climate crisis. So it's up to all of us to say, we're going to get here. I get that we all may have differences, but nobody is getting everything they wanted. That's what happens in a negotiation. We need to negotiate, but we need to do it quickly, and we need to deliver on behalf of the American people.
So yeah, we really have kind of like all the Democrats versus kind of two in the Senate, Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, the moderate Democrats, as well as the other issue is the prescription drug pricing, which they're trying to hammer out the details of that, get everybody on board with that, as well as the price tag, which is probably going to be somewhere between 2.0 trillion and $2.9 trillion. And then they can finalize the deal. We did have two really big things get finished this week. The debt limit bill was finalized in the Senate on Thursday night, and in the House yesterday. The House finished that bill in the House and sent it over to the president. That is now signed, sealed, and delivered, but that is only a temporary bill that will go until early December. It's estimated to go till December 3rd because it doesn't have a date on it. It has a dollar amount on it, $480 billion. So the Democrats have to either pass the stimulus package and add a debt limit increase again to it, or they're going to have to make a deal with the Republicans. But they did get that debt limit increase done. That was one thing done yesterday. And the Social Security increase was announced yesterday as well. I will put I will link it to a video on that with a lot of details on that. It's the largest increase in 38 years, and there could be more to come with the $200 per month increase, or even more than that with the Joe Biden's floor limit increase as well. So I'll link it to a video I did on that as well. So if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe down below. New videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will keep you up to date on everything you need to know about here on this channel. Click here to watch that video on the Social Security increases. Very big information just announced yesterday. Lots of details here in this video. So click on that video next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.